You feel if someone put you in a confined space and left you there, while others looked and walked by you without helping? Well, that is the case with most aquariums and zoos. In fact, the Big Cat Rescues, in its 2020 issue, reports that more than 230 exotic cats have been rescued so far. It is currently making its way towards the court. As a matter of fact, Rachel Faber, along with the National Geographic, reports in its August 2019 issue that there is a complete difference between trying to break in animals, such as a dog or a cat, that has already been domesticated for thousands of years, and an animal that has been broken to be tamed. Today we will be talking about how animals are abused for entertainment. First, we will be talking about how animals are treated in circuses. Second, we'll be talking about how animals are treated in zoos and aquariums. And lastly, we'll be talking about the effects of dog abuse in instances such as dogfighting settings. So first, we'll be talking about animals in circuses. Animals in circuses have been an issue going on for years. The Huntsville Reporter reports that in July 2016, circuses have received a lot of pushback, causing them to use less and less exotic and wild animals. The pushback not only came from the public, but also the court system. The pushback allowed for more care for animals and allowed for circuses to use less of them. The more the circuses are allowed to go under the rug with using animals in instances just for entertainment, the more the animals can be caused to be led to abuse. With courts noticing the negative impacts, it'll allow for more of these animals to be free from such circuses. Now that we talked about animals in circuses, let's move on to animals in zoos and aquariums. The Big Cat Rescue in 2006 reports that 79% of all captive cats incidents occurred in the US. This, however, is a decline from 2007. In general, the captivity of big cats is unsafe for both humans and animals. The Big Cat Rescue reports in 2020 that there had been reported 121 deaths outside of the US by captive cats and over 200 maulings of humans. Not only adults are affected, children are also victims to these attacks. And to think of what parents feel watching their child being torn apart just haunts a person. Now that we've talked about animals in zoos and aquariums, let's move on to animals in dogfighting rings. The CNN News claims that in December 2023, in the previous year, over 400 dogs had been rescued from dogfighting rings. This is a climb from previous years as well. Referred to as a sport among the people that are involved, dogfighting rings lead to terrible abuse of these dogs. CNN reports that authorities raided and seized a dogfighting ring and found over 23 dogs chained up in freezing cold temperature rooms with no food or water, leading for multiple of them to die of malnourishment. The federal government is well aware of this and are currently investigating it. But that's not enough. Social media has allowed for dogfighting rings to continue to be uproar. These people who are currently involved and know of these involvements are allowing this abuse of dogs to continue. Today I've told you about the abuse of animals. First, I explained how animals are abused in circuses. Second, I talked about how animals are abused in zoos and aquariums. And lastly, I talked about the effects of how dogfighting rings really put a toll into the dogs. How would you feel if someone beat you and put you to the ground and you had no chance of fighting back? Well, that's how these dogs and these animals feel. Now, let's fight back. As a community, we should be able to come as one and fight for these animals' rights. Thank you.